Hey there, guys. Thanks for jumping on the live. We don't have a ton of people on, but I figured with it being a late night live, that's kind of what I was expecting. So if anyone has any questions, either on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, just let me know. But I kind of just wanted to do a late night live. Just kind of see if anyone was on, or I'm going to try to do one during the day tomorrow too. I'm just trying to get a feel for when all my followers are on and watching. Hello from Australia. Hello. Thanks for coming in. Australia. What time is it there? It's got to be like what? Early morning in Australia right now? Right? That makes sense in my mind. Hello from New York City. Oh, it's 4:30 p.m. Well, yeah, why early morning. I suppose that's more time zones away than I thought. That's nuts. So close. So close. I tried. I really tried. If you guys are hanging out on TikTok, feel free to jump over to YouTube. We are live on YouTube now as well. England is early morning right now. They're 5 a.m. Okay, so yeah, I suppose, and Australia's further than that. So yeah, that makes sense. I tried. Hello from Texas. Hello. Love the videos. Very educational. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We will take a break here from the TikTok live in a little bit, just because I also want to go live on Instagram and tell people to jump over to YouTube. So if you guys are currently live on TikTok and you want to keep asking questions or carry on with the conversation, jump on over to YouTube, because we are going to jump over to Instagram quick to try to let people know on Instagram that we're live as well. Jody asked, "Where are you from?" I am from Wisconsin, just like Nature Daydream. Yes, I am from Wisconsin, unfortunately. Your videos make me feel less alone, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So glad to hear that. Hello from Vegas, longtime fan. Hello. I want to come to Vegas soon. I have been wanting to go to Vegas. Have you traveled much? I've been traveling a lot the last couple of years because of motivational speaking and that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping to travel even more in the near future. I'm going to be going to New York for the first time since, like, I don't know, high school. My first year of high school, freshman year. So, what did you think of David Smalley? David's awesome. He was really fun to do the podcast with. I'm excited to do stuff with him in the future too. It was a really interesting podcast he had me on. I want to help him promote it. So I think soon he's going to be sending me some promos so I can start sending people over to it. I listened to it, even though I hate listening to my own voice. No, he was a very good interviewer. He asked really intriguing questions I don't get asked all the time. So love the neck tat. Thank you. Would you ever do a podcast featuring other people with schizophrenia? Hold on to that question just for a little while. Hold on to it. Revisit that question after a couple months. How do you feel about Wisconsin's mental health care? It's not the best, but we're also definitely not the worst in comparison to a lot of states. We definitely need more providers here in Wisconsin. We need to get people starting to go to school for psychiatry, counseling, stuff like that, because we have a lot of funding for mental health care right now. In the last couple of years and going into this year, even, they've talked about funding mental health, but we do not have a lot of providers, and that's where we get held up. Do you still have a lot of visual hallucinations? I do still have hallucinations with my medication, yes. Jody on YouTube asked, have you done reactions to other YouTubers with schizophrenia? Live reactions get very popular. Yeah, I've done reactions to schizophrenic story times, or not, sorry, to schizophrenic simulations. I want to do reactions to TV shows and movies. I'm just trying to figure out how I can do that because I've seen other creators do it, but I want to make sure I do it right so I don't get like copyright infringement issues and stuff like that. So I will eventually start doing reaction videos to both movies and TV shows, stuff like that, featuring people with schizophrenia. If you guys have any questions for me, jump on into the live over on YouTube because I am going to end the TikTok live here for a little bit so that I can go let people on Instagram know we're live too. So if you guys want to keep asking any questions, jump on over to YouTube or wait a little bit. We'll be back live here on TikTok after not too long. I just want to go and let people on Instagram also know that we're live on YouTube. So if you guys have any other questions for me, YouTube username is the same as my TikTok here. So it's SchizophrenicHippie over on YouTube. Plus, we're getting closer and closer to 50,000 followers. So I'd really appreciate the support. But I'm going to hop off of here and we're going to jump on to Instagram. I will be back after a little bit. So if you guys don't want to hop on over to YouTube, just wait like 15, 20 minutes. We should be back. But we're going to log off here quick, go do that. And then if you guys want to keep chatting, jump on over to YouTube. All right, so we're going to do Instagram for a little bit here. I've been trying to do more Instagram lives just because it's somewhere that I'm getting more followers, but I don't get to stream a lot, so oh, Lydia, as an EMS provider, what is something you can say or help to someone that is having visual hallucinations? I think it's going to be a little different depending on the person, right? Because everyone reacts differently to medication, but everyone also reacts differently to how they want to be helped with their symptoms. I really prefer that people don't draw any attention to my symptoms and that they try to distract me from my symptoms. So like I don't want I personally don't want anyone pointing out my symptoms even if they're trying to assure me that the symptoms aren't there. I really prefer that people distract me from them. So start a conversation with literally anything to do besides my hallucinations and that really helps me relax and calm down. If you guys are hanging out on Instagram, I just wanted to go live on Instagram to let you guys know we are doing a Q&A on YouTube right now. YouTube link is in the bio, or the username is the same as on here. It is SchizophrenicHippie. I got a bunch of questions over here on YouTube, so if you want to get in the lineup or if you have any questions for me, jump on over to YouTube. Saleya, I see that you asked a question about specific medication. Just so you know, I don't answer any questions about specific types of medication because everyone has different brain chemistry. So what works well for me isn't going to work well for the next person necessarily. Um, if all I could say with medication is take it consistently, but also be willing to, talk to a psychiatrist, a doctor about if you're having issues with it, or I know you said it's for your son. If your son's having issues with the medication or it's not effective, just make sure that you guys are open and honest with your care team right away so they can try something else. Because there's a lot of different antipsychotics and medications, stuff like that for schizophrenia. And the reason I won't talk about it is because I am not a trained mental health professional. I'm not in any way qualified to talk about medication. I just know in my own personal experience, it's been extremely helpful with paranoia delusions, and it's very much reduced my hallucinations, even though I still have them occasionally. So I would say, yeah, I would say just start with trying the med, and if it's not working over time, then you can look at asking a care provider if it needs to be reevaluated. If you guys are hanging out on Instagram and you have any questions, feel free to jump on over to YouTube. We got some more questions over here. I would start with other YouTubers, big TV channels like Copyright Strike. Yeah, yeah, I know. That's the thing I'm worried about too, because I'm like, I want to react to. I don't really want to react to other like schizophrenia YouTubers. No offense to any of them. I think there are some really good ones. There are also some I've seen where I'm like, I wouldn't really want to engage with the content too much. So for me, I would much rather react to how people have portrayed schizophrenia in TV shows, movies, news, stuff like that. I'm not really interested in watching other people's content and making comments about it, because it's not, everyone has their own journeys through advocacy, and it's not my place to comment on what other people are doing. Someone said I have schizotypical. Um, I think that's what you meant to type there. Am I headed to the big schizophrenia? I think that it is. I think it is really common for people to have like schizotypical and not develop schizophrenia. So not necessarily. I think the entire reason for the diagnosis of schizotypical was that you could have it and not necessarily go on to have to get a schizophrenia diagnosis. But like I said, once again, not a professional in any means. That's just very basics of what I've learned from digging on it more online. Someone said play Among Us. I haven't played Among Us in so long. Allison loves Among Us. Someone asked, do you deal with tactile hallucinations? I've been in the hospital for them repeatedly. Find nothing wrong. I personally haven't since well before I was medicated. So because of my medication, I'm in a very like stable place where I don't deal with a lot of hallucinations in general. But even before I was medicated, I don't remember dealing with tactile hallucinations often. I remember a few, like, very, very few scenarios where I believed that I was having tactile hallucinations, but I was struggling with. I was very delusional back then. I was also using drugs as a way to self medicate back then, so I don't know for sure that's even what I was experiencing, but I I believe it is. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I can't even tell you for sure that I have experienced tactile hallucinations. But for those of you who don't know, tactile hallucinations are like touch hallucinations, something you can feel. Peak. If you guys are hanging out in Instagram chat and you got any questions, feel free to jump over to the YouTube live. I'd really appreciate the support over there. I have schizoaffective disorder, and I just graduated from film school. I'm writing a screenplay about a woman with schizophrenia. I was wondering what you'd like to see in the film and how it's portrayed. I mean, you know, I think the best thing you can do is if you're making a film about schizophrenia, don't be afraid to reach out to schizophrenic creators. A lot of schizophrenic creators are willing to, lend you their time. A lot of advocates, I mean, you will have to, like, if you're willing to pay advocates for their time so they can tell you about their lived experience. I know a few of my friends with schizophrenia have done that before. And I think that's the best way to really learn about a disorder, is allow an advocate. And I'm not even saying me. If you're doing a film about a woman with schizophrenia, I'd say reach out to like Michelle Hammer, Cecilia McGow, someone like some of the female schizophrenia advocates out there, because I think they would do an awesome job at being able to help you understand how to like correctly portray a schizophrenic character. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Someone asked, with my hallucinations getting worse, uh, I'm worried about them getting more vivid. I would just, like I said, this goes back to just making sure that you're talking to your care team and that you're able to like communicate well what's going on and if the medication's helping, not if treatment's helping at all. That way they can kind of figure out how to carry on the treatment process from there. All right. Looks like we don't have a ton of people in the Instagram live watching actively. So, what we're going to do is if you guys are interested in being a part of the conversation, if you have any questions, jump on over to YouTube. Otherwise, we're going to head back over onto TikTok just because, I got more people over there and I want to make sure that people are aware that we are live on YouTube right now. Probably won't be up super late just because we did a late night live. So, but if you guys have any questions, jump on over to YouTube. Thanks. And all right, we're gonna jump back onto TikTok here. Okay, we're back live on TikTok. Deanna, hello. I hope you're doing well. Does treatment help right away? I haven't started yet, but I will soon as I'm actively looking for help because I've had to leave 2 jobs over this. How long did it take medication to help you? I mean, this also comes back to mental health being a very individualistic experience. Medication took a couple years to be like fully effective for me. I started noticing symptom relief within a couple of weeks of taking my very first antipsychotic, but I didn't get to a point where I had like no delusions or paranoia for several years after starting medication. So, um, and I've heard the opposite with some people. I've heard that with other people that are schizophrenia advocates, they got lucky and the first med they tried was the right med for them, and they experienced basically almost full symptom relief from it. So it really depends. Hopefully, it's quick and easy for you. It's not. I don't want to lie and say it's always going to be a quick and easy process. It was several years for me to get to like the right medication, and I'm really lucky now that it did work really well for me, and I get to be mostly symptom free, with the exception of having like hallucinations a few times a week. So you were diagnosed later in life, correct? Yes, I was diagnosed after I got out of jail. So I started having symptoms when I was 19. I didn't get diagnosed until I was about 21. If anyone else has any questions, go ahead and throw them in. I bet those 2 years were a little spicy. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, Allison. What do you think? Were those years a little spicy? I think she fell asleep in the chair. Wake up. That's my chair. You got to go to bed, pal. Don't worry. I'm talking to someone who is really there. I had my first psychosis in my 20s. That's pretty common. Most people don't experience like a psychotic break until late teens to early 20s. So that's a little more common than like childhood schizophrenia can happen, but it's pretty rare. Yeah, yeah, that's Allison, Deanna. She's hiding in my chair back there, probably sleeping again. How do I address a client who struggles to differentiate between visual hallucinations and reality. I mean, that's going to come down to, I mean, a lot of it's going to be medication. You know, are they on medication? Are they taking medication? Are they consistently taking medication? Because you couldn't convince me that my hallucinations weren't real until well after I was medicated and going through treatment. So, um, someone who's, you know, delusional and hallucinating is going to be kind of hard to rationalize with. But if someone's on medication, they might start having more like moments of clarity. They might be able to differentiate a little bit better. So, if you guys are hanging out on TikTok, feel free to jump over to YouTube. Also, we're doing a live Q&A on YouTube, and I'm getting really close to hitting 50,000 followers, so I'd really appreciate your guys' support over on YouTube as well. Where do I find the price for you to show up and speak with high schoolers? Just shoot me an email or check out my website. I don't have listed prices because it's going to be different for different events. But for motivational speaking stuff, just go to codygreen.com or email info@codygreen.com, and I can send you my rate sheet and all that stuff. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, jump on over to YouTube because I got the Q&A pulled up here, so I'd love to answer more questions. It can either be about schizophrenia, addiction, any of that good stuff. Oh, yeah, it's definitely later than I usually do these. I'm gonna try to do like a midday one tomorrow, and see if like more people jump in the middle of the day. Who's your celebrity crush? Hmm. I mean, the easy answer would be Ryan Reynolds, right? I think Emma Stone might be my celebrity crush. Are your topics appropriate for grades 6th grade and up, or only high school and up? I can speak to basically any group. I just have to change some of the content, like some of the more difficult to hear stories about like my addiction and stuff like that. I would just withhold if it was a younger crowd. Mostly, like even for high school, I don't get too in depth. But if I'm at like a conference, stuff like that, I tend to be a little more specific so that people can really understand. Yeah, yeah. So that way people can better understand, you know, schizophrenia and addiction and that kind of stuff. How do I talk to a client about going back on meds when they don't fully believe? I mean, it becomes really difficult because like we talked about, if someone's delusional, paranoid, stuff like that, it's going to be really hard for them um to differentiate and be able to rationalize stuff like that. So I work at a local boys and girls club. I will be reaching out. Oh, awesome. Yeah. I'm excited to hear from you. You got airplane snacks? Clearly, she didn't see the gummies and the chocolates yet. Someone asked, does weed can help you to mild symptoms, or does it make it worse? Once again, I am not a mental health or I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not in any way licensed to talk about medication or treatment. I've heard people say both. I know people who live with psychosis that do use marijuana and it helps, but I also know a lot of people where it's the exact opposite. So it's really going to be person to person. And if you are in a state where it's legal and you want to discuss doing something like that, talk to your psychiatrist because they should know that you're doing that and mixing it with medication. And maybe there are some psychiatrists out there who wouldn't mind, but they should know that that's something you're doing. You know what? Even in a state where it's not legal, honestly, you should tell you should tell who's ever prescribing you medication that you're doing that. Cody and Co. Did you like that? Yeah, I was surprised how many people liked that video. I didn't know if it would do well or not, but someone asked, Wally asked, how long did it take you to become consistent with your medications? Do you have a routine that you follow? Yeah, absolutely. So my entire daily routine now is set up because of my medicine routine. So whenever I wake up in the day, the first thing I do, like instinctively, is take medication. I get it done with literally the moment I wake up. So the first thing I do when I walk into the bathroom is take my meds. That means even if I wake up just for like an hour to use the bathroom, or if I just wake up to run to the bathroom in the morning, I take my meds right away. And same thing when I go to sleep, I always have to take meds like right before I go to sleep too. So I've just gotten really good about taking my meds that it's not anything I really struggle with. It at first it just became I had to make it like my whole daily routine is set up around medication. Cody and Co was hilarious. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think a lot of people in the comments thought I was joking, but I'm like, no, I actually I actually named my LLC that because it's amazing and hilarious. I'm researching auditory verbal hallucinations. Would you be open to an interview? Yep. Just send me an email to info@codygreen.com or check out codygreen.com and reach out to me on the website and just send me details of like what it's for and how much time you would need, all that stuff. How did you figure out you were schizophrenic? I didn't really believe I was schizophrenic, but I started realizing that maybe something was wrong with me after I went to jail. I knew after I stopped using drugs, I was still having a psychotic break. I was using drugs as a way to cope with that psychotic break, but then when I got sober, I was still having all the symptoms and everything. So I realized that maybe I had some sort of issue I had to deal with, and so I finally went and got treatment, got help. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see you back. Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with content. I've been really doing a lot more on YouTube right now. So if you guys are fans of mine on TikTok or Instagram, anything like that, I'd love if you guys also supported my YouTube page. The link is in my bio. Big fan of your content. Thank you. Fellow schizo here. Grateful to have someone like you as a face for us. Oh, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. That actually means a lot. Like that's kind of why I make content, is so when people think about schizophrenia, they don't think of terrible portrayals they've seen on TV. They think about like someone they can actually like put a face to with the illness. What's up? Do you ever discuss what hallucinations say? I've tried like even like it's hard for me because once the hallucinations are over, like I can think about like a sentence here or there, but if I have multiple voices talking to me at the same time, it's hard to retain any of that information once I'm done having hallucinations. Kind of similar to like when you're dreaming and then you wake up, it's hard for you to remember what happened. It's similar to that because when I'm having hallucinations, I'm not as coherent. I don't have the ability to like have critical thinking skills as much, and so once my medicine starts working properly and I stop having symptoms, it's hard for me to like remember exactly what I was hearing or seeing. Um, Sometimes I can, like if it's like a one-off conversation where it was something that like really stuck with me or that I thought was really funny or interesting. Sometimes I'll get stuff like that where it sticks with me, but if I'm having like multiple auditory hallucinations, it gets really hard to even decipher what they're saying. Is your voice on a commercial for a medical shot for schizophrenia? Not that I'm aware of. If so, I am not being compensated as such. No, I don't think so. Well, no, I shouldn't say I don't think so. No, it's not. Do you have hallucinations in your dreams? I don't dream, and I don't know if that's because of schizophrenia or if it's because of my medication or if it's because of like drug use in my past. I don't dream really anymore. Like as an adult, I can't think of the last time I had a dream. So you would know, but the guy sounds just like you. Yeah, that's crazy. No, it's no, not me. That video you showed you actually thinking someone was there was insightful. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I've been anytime I record a video like that and someone isn't there, because sometimes I record videos like that and people are there. Um, when I record a video like that and someone isn't really there, I think it's always really beneficial for people to see that so they can see how real it is to me in that moment. I think it's a really good educational tool for people. All right. Well, I think I might end up wrapping up the live here because my wife fell asleep behind me in my chair and she's got to get up and go to bed. So I'm going to get going on the live tonight, but I'm going to be live again tomorrow. So if you guys want to jump back in, ask any questions, definitely stop back in. If you are hanging out on TikTok, please do me a favor, go follow me on YouTube. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, I'm going to get going for the night, but I will see you all tomorrow.